Yeah. Okay. So Duryodhan was used to being, the star of the show, more or less. He's this prince, the Yuvaraj or whatever. He's the future. He thought, at least, the future king. And that's what they hoped. I mean, Pandu was gone, and then Pandavas come back. Pandu's kids, and so I mean, it wasn't really such a thing. But it's Pandu, who's gonna inherit, right? Because it's kind of like a race to have the who's to have the first heir, and it was Pandu. So Yudhisthira kind of was entitled to the right as king, and so he got a lot of respect. And Bhishma and Vidura started liking him because he was adherent to Dharma, and Duryodhana was kind of selfish. There was a selfish attitude and kind of like pampered from small, and so he kind of was like spoiled brat kind of like personality. And Yudhisthira was very humble and respectful because he was raised amongst rishis. They're good etiquette that he was raised with. Live simple, they ate fruits and live in a cave. And Duryodhan, lived in a city, and he's a spoiled brat. And so all the elders of the family, they liked Yudhisthira, and so Duryodhan was kind of jealous. And then, you know, make it worse is Bhima. Bhima was strong and haughty, and powerful, and he would fight. They would play wrestle, but Bhima was so strong, they didn't really realize his own strength. So sometimes he'd break some bones, when they're playing, because he's so strong. And then sometimes he'd chase them around so they'd get scared. So all the brothers, they hide in a tree. They got these big trees, so they hide in the tree, and Bhima would shake the tree, and everyone would fall down. And so then then they'd wrestle, and then they'd he'd eat as much as 20 of the brothers put together. And then they'd wrestle in the water, and he'd hold Duryodhana under until he's almost drowned, and then pull him out. So Bhima was kind of a bully in a sense. I mean, he was playful, fun, but he was just so strong, they didn't realize how much suffering it was causing. So one time, Duryodhana was angry, and he was with his uncle Shakuni. Now Shakuni's a devious, tricky guy. There's no other way to put it. So Duryodhana was just saying, "Well, man, I wish Bhima was gone. I wish I didn't. I wish he was gone." So Shakuni's like, "Well, there's a way you can make that happen." And Duryodhana's like, "Really? How?" He said, "You give him poison, and you tie him up and throw him with weights and drop him in the river, and then he'll never be come again. You're the son of the king. No one will question it. Even if they have some, no one's gonna be able to hurt you." And so Duryodhana was thinking, and this devious part of him, it nurtured onto that, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do that." So Shakuni kind of was mad at Bhishma because Bhishma had married his sister off to Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra was blind. And so that meant that Gandhari had to walk around with a blindfold on. And so he kind of felt that his family's honor was compromised. Like, you just push her off to the blind brother. Like, who are we? Some trash, So he wanted to get back at Bhishma. And he could see that Bhishma preferred the Pandavas, just as Bhishma preferred Pandu. So he preferred the Pandavas, so he wanted to cause pain to Bhishma. So he kind of came up with this whole plan, like kill Bhima. And, use his political maneuverability and kind of stuff, teaching that craft of, duplicitousness to Duryodhan, who's his sister's son. So they got this special poison called Haya, and they mixed it in the food. And so Duryodhan, who usually fought with Bhima, they went on a trip to the river, and he started serving Bhima with his own hand the poison food. And then Bhima was eating, and then Bhima was still playing because, he's so strong. And then everyone kind of left, but Bhima was still swimming and playing, and then he started to feel sleepy. And so he fell asleep because the poison was starting to take effect. So then they tied his hands and feet and tied him down with weights and threw him in the river. So when they threw him with the weights in the river, now in the river there's caves in the bottom. And the nagas use these caves to go from Nagaloka to the earth. Because that's how they travel, is in the water. They use the waterways. And there's these trans-dimensional portal caves that are there. So it'll take you to Nagaloka, which is a whole other world, So because he was weighted, it dragged him down to the bottom, and the current pushed him into the cave. And so Bhima went in these places, and he ended up in Nagaloka. And he washed up on the shore of Nagaloka. And then as soon as he did that, the snakes saw him. And they, being snakes, it's their nature, they instantly bit him. So they bit Bhima, and the poison reacted with the the venom of the snakes interacted with the poison that they fed Bhima, and actually was the perfect antidote. And so then he was cured, and he instantly got up, and he easily broke the bonds, and then the snakes were surprised, and then he started to fight with them. And so then the serpents heard, and so then they went and they looked, and there was a minister of the nagas, and he looked, and he could tell a long time back on Kunti's side of the family, there was some interrelation with the serpent. Because the serpents, there's 4 dynasties in the earth. There's the Surya Vamsha, which is the solar dynasty, the Chandra Vamsha, which is the lunar dynasty, the Agni Vamsha, which is the fire from Agni Dev, and the Naga Vamsha, which comes from the serpents. So Bhima was actually descended, Kunti's side of the family was intermarried in the Naga Vamsha. And obviously, Bhima was such a powerful personality, and the Nagas could tell just how strong he was. And partly in a bid to appease him because he was so powerful, and also partly because he was related to them, the Nagas decided to, offer him hospitality. Now, the Nagas had a particular kind of drink. Now, it was this special Nagarasa made of celestial herbs and stuff. Now, they could only drink a small amount. Tiny, tiny little bits, because it's very hard. It was so powerful, and it's so hard to digest. So Bhima was, I guess all the excitement and the poison thing and the fighting and the whole business kind of gave him an appetite, and thirsty too. So they gave him a little bit, and he drank it. He said, "Oh, that's good. Give me more." So they said, "Okay." So they gave him more. So Bhima has this special fire of digestion in his stomach, right? So Bhima liked it so much he had 7 pitchers filled. I mean, I drink about 3 big pitchers filled with water every day because I can drink a lot because I'm big. But Bhima drank 7 pitchers filled of nagas, and he slept for 7 days actually after that. His body like digested it. And then when he woke up, he had the strength of 10,000 elephants because of the nagarasa. I'm guessing there's probably honey in it, but anyway, it's good. Honey they put in all kind of Ayurvedic stuff. Anyway, I'm not gonna. It's not an Ayurvedic lesson, but anyway, so yeah, that was the nagarasa. So Bhima took that, and then he disappeared for 7 days also, So everyone was worried, and then like Yudhisthira, Kunti was sad, and Vidura told him to calm down, and they shouldn't go making accusations because they're just guests. They kind of realized their position was tedious. They're guests in the king's house, really. I mean, their father is dead, and although the Kauravas are being civil, let's say, let him stay there. If they like make accusations on Duryodhan, then they could be liable to get kicked out. It's kind of tedious, Vidura warned them, and so then finally he came back. Bhima came back from the Naga place after 7 days, and then he greeted everybody, and he was happy, and everyone was happy that he had come back, and Duryodhan was surprised, and they tried to feed him, poison again, and it didn't work because of the nagarasa. It made him immune. So, I could stop here,